One, two, one, two, one, two. Here we go. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. My name is Jason. You can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and Amazon. The Catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. If you would like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or a contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. That's catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 44 of the Catalyst Podcast. 44 going 45. Soon go to 50. It's crazy to think, August of last year is when we started the podcast, and that was the main thrust of actually doing Catalyst was the podcast, and I built everything around doing that, and I finally got to it, and I really enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys are getting something out of it, and it started off with telling that story, and the journey of that story, and now just coming up with different topics, ideas, and I think eventually I'm going to do just like a potpourri, and just come up with a just random topic and talk about it. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to it. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to do a deep dive into the powerful concept of the wounded healer. The wounded healer. All right. The wounded healer archetype goes way back into history. Think of the mythical centaur. I think it's Chiron or Chiron. He was a wise teacher who, despite being immortal, suffered a constant wound. Or even characters like Dumbledore from Harry Potter, who, despite tremendous loss, became a beacon of guidance. In simpler terms, a wounded healer is someone who's been through the fire and emerged stronger. They carry scars from their experiences, but in those scars, they don't allow them to hold them back. They become a source of strength, wisdom, and immense compassion. Think about it. Some of the most inspiring leaders, coaches, change makers out there have had their fair share of scars, both physical and emotional. Their journeys haven't been sunshine and rainbows, but you know what? It's those very struggles that shape who they are and the impact they create. So the question is, are you ready to embrace the wounded healer within you? Are you ready to transform your wounds into wisdom and use it to empower yourself and others? Well, let me tell you a story. So back in college, there was this kid I knew. Let's call him Brian. Right? He was a scrawny kid with no confidence. He would always bomb a major presentation in front of the entire class, and let's say it wasn't pretty for him. During the presentation, he turned bright red, his voice cracked. He basically mumbled his way through the slides. Humiliated doesn't even begin to describe it. For weeks, he He carried the shame around like a heavy backpack. But then something shifted. He realized that hiding wouldn't make it go away. In fact, he can use this experience to become a better public speaker, someone who can help others avoid the same issues he was dealing with. So he started joining like speaking clubs, practicing in front of the mirror. Yeah, something I even do. Even volunteering and giving presentations at local events. It wasn't easy, but slowly he started to find his voice. The fear didn't disappear entirely, but he learned how to manage it. And guess what? That experience, that wound, well, it became the foundation of his entire career. Today, he helps people overcome their fears of public speaking, share their messages to the world, and build unshakable confidence. See, the beauty of the wounded healer is that your struggles become your greatest teachers. They equip you with empathy, understanding, and a unique perspective that allows you to connect with others on a deeper level. People don't want to be preached to. They want to connect with someone who's been there, who gets it. Um, Maya Angelou has this quote: "There's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Those untold stories, those unhealed wounds, they can hold us back. But by sharing them, processing them, and turning them into wisdom, we unlock a whole new level of freedom and potential." Now, becoming a wounded healer, it isn't about delving or dwelling in your past. It's about acknowledging your struggles, learning from them, and using those lessons to empower yourself and uplift others. It's about taking those scars and turning them into badges of honor, symbols of your resilience and your growth. Now, maybe you went through a tough breakup, right? You're brokenhearted. We've been there. We've all been there. You can use that experience to become a dating coach. Help others navigate the complexities of love and relationships. Perhaps you faced a financial hardship that's forced you to be resourceful. You can use that as your new superpower. Become a financial advisor, showing others how to build financial security. Well, I can use some of that, man. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are the same way. So, well, the, I'm, the possibilities are endless. Whatever your wound may be, it could hold the potential for incredible transformation. It's about reframing your story, shifting your perspective, and seeing your experiences not as burdens, but as stepping stones to your highest potential. You just think about that. Think about that. Wow. So, so how can we tap into that inner wounded warrior? Okay, so here's 3 actionable steps. All right. 1, embrace your story. Don't shy away from your past struggles. Reflect on them, learn from them, and see them as stepping stones, not roadblocks. Find your tribe. Surround yourself with people who create a safe space for vulnerability. Share your stories with them and listen to theirs. You'll be surprised by the strength and inspiration you find in shared experiences. Help others heal. Look around you. Who's struggling with a challenge you've already overcome? Offer a listening ear. Share your experiences and be a source of support and strength. You might be surprised at the impact it can make. Remember, you're not defined by your wounds, but by how you choose to heal from them. Your scars are not badges of shame. They're symbols of resilience and your capacity for empathy. And with that, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to episode 44 of the Catalyst Podcast. Raw, real, and unedited. This is Jason, and you can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear this podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, and Amazon. Catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. If you would like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. That's catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening to episode 44. We appreciate you and hope to catch you for episode 45 of the Catalyst Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it. Go be great.